Welcome to another live stream here for ASIS Massage Education. I'm Michelle, Education Director. We come live every Friday, 1 o'clock Arizona time, bringing you some guests that are bringing relevant and important information about the massage therapy field. And today is no exception. Today I am very proud and excited to introduce Dolly Wallace, who is the current board president for NCBTMB, the National Certification Board for Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork. Whew, I got it out this time. I feel like I had to practice it a couple times. So I invited Dolly on. I actually have known her for a few years. We volunteered together with the American Massage Therapy Association, AMTA, and that's where some of our time had overlapped with our volunteer time. And when I found out she was on the board now for NCB, I knew I had to catch up with her and also ask her what's new and going on with NCB, and can you come on and chat about some of the differences that people, some miscommunications, some misconceptions people have about what NCB actually is and what they do and what they stand for. So now I'm going to put her in the hot seat and ask her all the great questions. So without further ado, let's welcome Dolly. Hi, Dolly.
Hi, thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and being so great. I was just mentioning, right, that we had met during our times volunteering at AMTA. I was chapter president for Arizona while you were serving on the national board. And it overlapped a little bit when you were national president as well. So I got to spend some nice time with you. So it was really exciting to do that. And I really enjoyed working with you then. So thanks for taking the time out today and chat, and we can catch up a little bit.
That's good. I'm excited.
Yay. So first, tell us a little bit about your journey in massage in general. I think I read you've been in the field for over 30 years now.
Yes.
Practicing. So what's that journey been like for you?
Well, I got off to a rough start because when I started massage school, it was in the late 1980s. Some of the listeners probably weren't even born at that time. So this is going to be old news. But when I decided to go to massage school, there were very few massage schools around. The nearest one to me was 3 hours away. There were two. There was one in Chicago School of Massage, and there was one in Lapeer, Michigan. I was a Michigan girl, but they were both 3 hours away. You know, and Chicago appealed to me, big city. I thought, oh, this would be great, thinking I'm going to get a better quality education in the big city. And then I investigated both schools, and great education was being offered in both schools. And then I weighed out driving into Chicago versus driving across the state of Michigan on a 2-lane highway rather than freeways, parking downtown Chicago, all that. I thought, no, I'm going to go to Michigan. So at that time, there were no presentations online or anything. It was all by telephone, whatever. We didn't have a lot of information. But Sandy Fritz was the owner of the school. Some of you may recognize Sandy's name. She's authored textbooks now. Back then, she made her own little paper textbooks for us. So she's brilliant. But I didn't know a lot about the school. There was no pictures of the school, none of the students. And it was fairly new. I think she'd only been in business 2 or 3 years when I decided to go. But I really liked what she had to offer. So I drove there. And I drove further and further in the country, and I thought, oh, this is out in the country. And I pulled up to this beautiful white farmhouse with a big red barn, and parking was all roped off. So I parked in the roped off space, and I said, where's the school? And they said, well, you go into the barn. And I thought I was going to walk through the barn to a school. No, school was in the barn. I thought, back then, there were no regulations for massage, no licensing. And I thought, who's going to respect me if they know I went to school in a barn? And it was like, I didn't even want to tell my family I was going to school in a barn. This was, I thought, oh my goodness. But I thought, oh, you drove all this way. You're going to suck it up and do it. And I'm not a city slicker by any means, but this wasn't what I expected. Long story short, excellent entry-level education. And like I said, it's lasted me all this time. So that's my big red barn story. And it was, but fabulous education. I just can't say enough about it.
I think of when people say, when you have bad manners, what were you raised in a barn? But we can ask, what did you learn massage in a barn? I love it. So
Yeah.
I
I
love that.
did. And the energy in the barn was so fascinating and great
Mhm.
instructors. Some of them are still teaching today. And it was just an awesome experience.
Oh,
And so when I got out of school, because there was no licensing, very few states were regulated at that time. And
right.
Michigan was one that was not regulated. So one of the many that weren't. And so I joined the AMTA, the American Massage Therapy Association, because I thought it would add credibility. You
Mhm.
know, they had a standard of practice, code of ethics, and I wanted people to know I was well trained. I was a professional.
Yeah.
And then a few years after that, NCBTMB came into being. And I wanted to be nationally certified because that was another credential that was, and it was so
Right.
important to me because I was working in a chiropractic office and it
Mhm.
happened to be my husband's chiropractic office. That's what got me interested in massage because I worked in his office and I saw people getting better. And I thought, I want to help people. But I
Mhm.
wasn't willing to make the commitment because it would have been moving out of state for 3 or 4 years to get that chiropractic education. And
Right.
we were married with 3 children. So
Mhm.
this wasn't an easy thing for me to do, even with massage school, let alone chiropractic college. So
Right.
we worked together all those years. People say, how can you work with your spouse? We didn't see each other much during the day because he
That's
had
how.
his patients, I had my clients. We had some that we shared, which
Mhm.
was wonderful, but we'd laugh. We'd take our kids to an amusement park and we're sitting on the bench waiting for them to get off the roller coaster. And I
Mhm.
say, you see that lady's shoulder over there? One shoulder's higher than the other. He'd go, well, look at the hip. And I think,
Yeah.
how many married couples have this conversation?
I love
So
that.
it was a great working
Mhm.
relationship.
Oh, that's
And we
awesome.
grew our practice together.
Mhm.
I have eventually had a waiting list practice.
Mhm.
He hired another doctor because he got so busy. I hired more massage therapists.
Mhm.
And one of the things I always looked for when I hired was, were they board certified? And
Mhm.
if they were, they got a higher rate of pay because board certification is that next level of it's above entry level education.
Mhm.
So yes, it was great when Michigan finally got licensure.
Yeah.
But board certification means something also, especially to health professionals. I mean, when I look for a doctor of any kind, I always look to see if they're board certified, if they have a fellowship, because I only have one body. I want the best of the best.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to be, the best of the best in our profession. And I think board certification offers a lot of that.
Yes, absolutely. And so there's a lot to unravel there that I have 1,000 questions about. One, thinking about, um, elevating the field and how some of the challenges that come along with that, which I think I'll pause for that for a little bit later on the conversation because I feel, I've had a couple talks about this in some of these live streams with some of my guests about how there's a lot of challenges in that we can't even agree on our own terms what we want and who we're going to say we are and the different states and everything. But with board certification alone, that's gone through quite a bit of transformation, right? With NCB as the organization in general, since was it in the 80s they were formed? Was that right? Or 19?
Early 90s, or very early 90s, yes.
Okay, yeah. So, can you tell us a little bit about the history? Like, what was the goal of forming the organization, and then how it kind of transformed to what we know of as board certification now? Like a little mini
It
history.
started out through AMTA. AMTA, we were actually AMTA's baby at that time, and so was the Massage Therapy Foundation. We were under their umbrella. And then we spun off to grow on our own, to set our own policies, bylaws, all of that. So we are a
Mhm.
separate entity because you don't have to be an AMTA member to be board certified. We have ABMP members, we have other members. So it's open to all to apply for
Mhm.
that. So that's how it started. And we've gone through so much transition. And I'm fairly new to the board. We have new leadership in our board. We have new leadership for staff.
Mhm.
But I like it because although we're all new, we're all experienced. We bring a wealth of knowledge and passion for the massage profession, both
Yeah.
with the staff and
Mhm.
with the leadership on the board.
Yeah.
So I had no plans to be on NCTMB's board. But when I rolled off the AMTA board, I thought, just like you, Michelle, I'm just going to volunteer for a committee now. You know, I'm no longer president. I'm cool, just like you. We're just going to keep, if
Yeah.
they ask me, I'll do something. But
Yeah.
then I kept getting the call that NCB really needs your help. they're going through a lot of change. And change is difficult, growth is difficult, and we've had to make a lot of hard decisions. And financially, we have to get back on track. So in December, we had a 3-day board meeting, and we set up our infrastructure. And so we have a strategic plan now with 3 main goals, and that's board certification, marketing the value of board certification, not only to our member certificants, but to the public, so they know how important it is, to our clients, to employers, to healthcare practitioners. So board certification really made a difference in my practice. My practice was very varied. My youngest client was 2 days old. My oldest was 102. So it's been amazing. And I've done outreach work for a little boy who was deprived of oxygen at birth, and I never charged his parents. I worked with him until he finally passed away at 6 years old. But it was an amazing experience. It was difficult when he passed away. But I encourage everybody to do the outreach work or to help the needy also. Yeah, it's about, especially when you're out, you need to make the money because you have to pay for everything that you've just gone through, your equipment, everything. But when you can, it all comes back to you tenfold. And on the other hand, I've massaged some very important people. Michelle, you've heard my speech about working with rock stars, being backstage with rock stars. My kids grew up having backstage passes to like Bon Jovi, to Kiss, to Slaughter, to Skid Row. They just, when they finally had to pay and go on their own, it's like, we don't like being out in the crowd. But these were perks that we had. But to work with these people, and they're people just like you and I. And in professional athletes, hockey players. One of my person I work with, he started out in the International Hockey League, made it to the NHL. He's now coaching. He has 5 Stanley Cup rings. And I can say, I knew you when. So it's like, you just grow with it and go with it, but believe in yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so great. And so many opportunities out there that you named like 4 different types of places in the industry that we can work in, then all the different parts as well. Yeah. So with NCB, so I guess I'll say, I still see in a lot of the like Facebook groups and people talking about that because the word national is in it, I think some people misunderstand and think that if you get certified or board certification or you take the national test, you then can get your license and work anywhere you want in the country. Do you still see that a lot from people, that misunderstanding?
Less than it was in the past, but that was our fault in the past for not marketing it correctly. So we have a whole new marketing plan this year because some people who've been board certified for a long time think, I don't know why I keep it. What good does it do me? And so that was our fault for not marketing the benefits of it. And so now we're seeing it more and more where employers are requiring, when they hire you, they want to hire board certified. Somebody just called me from Pennsylvania who's worked in a hospital for 4 years. And when they were hired, you didn't need to be board certified. They just posted job openings. They want only board certified. That board certification actually helped me with working with the people that I have, with the rock stars, with it, because they look for those credentials. They want people who have elevated their education. So yeah, it's very important.
So what is involved in doing that? Let's say I've just graduated from school and I want to get involved in this. I want to find out, how do I become board certified? What are my steps? What do I need to do?
Okay. Go to the website, ncbtmb.org or info@ncbtmb.org. There's all sorts of resources. You'll pull up something that says requirements and resources, NCBTMB. And once you register, they will send you a whole packet of information, what it takes, how much it costs, prepare you for it. There are study guides. We just formed a new committee called the Community Committee because, like I said, so many of us are out there and we don't have the support of other certificants. So we need to create that community of support. And that's what we're working on this year. We're really focused on that. So you're going to see a lot of marketing with it, and not just for the healthcare profession, but also for the people who do spa work or work independently at home. So that credential is still important. People look at that, they see that on your wall, it means something. And then if you work for somebody else, it usually will mean a higher rate of pay.
That's awesome. So can anyone from any school apply for this? I thought it was something, it has to be an NCB approved school, I believe, that they had to go to. Is there
in a assigned school, and we're working on that actually, or you can go through your profile. So that will explain it all in that information packet that you will get.
Okay. And then once they become board certified, is there anything else they have to do later on, or are they board certified for life?
No, you renew, because you need to take continuing education, just like you should for your license and everything. So we want to maintain that high level. So it's important that you take continuing ed.
Okay. Is there a list of like what they have to take? I know it has to be NCB approved continuing education, but is there so many hours in a certain subject matter that they have to do for renewals?
Yeah, so many in ethics. Of course, we want ethics. Some of the states now are requiring implicit bias, human trafficking. That's not something that NCB board certification is requiring right now, but some of the states are. So our approved providers are offering some of those classes now, which we didn't used to in the past, but we're seeing more states start to require that. So, well, I say we didn't used to in the past. We did for a while with the human trafficking. Then we thought, that's really not our forte. We're not the police. And then, but states are requiring it. We need to know what to look for if someone is a victim and they're coming to us for a massage, if they need help, or if we see it in our neighborhood that's happening. So we need that education, and we realized it. So we're back now to approved providers for those courses.
That's great. Yeah, as I've heard from just being through AMTA and knowing and networking, that there are different states that have requested like massage therapists to be on their task force and things for stopping human trafficking and such. And so that's partly what they have those classes for. So I'm glad to see that they're becoming more visible with those types of classes. I know there's not a whole lot out there, but I know of a couple different organizations that do that. And to know that that's such a, we can go on a whole hour for just talking about the human trafficking issue and how it relates to massage therapy. But we are closely related in that it's used, the industry unfortunately is used as a cover for it. So it is important that we are at the very least aware that it's happening. So,
and I was also invited, now that we brought this up with the sexual thing and human trafficking and all, invited to be part of a safety advisory council for one of the franchises, massage franchises, because there were complaints that some of their employees maybe assaulted a client, and vice versa. Clients will grab us sometimes. We've had that happen in the past, so we need to protect ourselves. And Dr. Oz did a section a few years ago. He did something on television where he invited some victims on, and they came on to say what happened with their experience. They were assaulted by a massage therapist, but he invited me on, which I was just so privileged to be on, to represent our profession, to say what to do, how to look for legitimate massage therapists, go to findamassagetherapist.org, what to look for in a massage therapist, and what to be cautious of. So that was so great to have that national opportunity to promote the legitimate massage therapist.
Right. Yeah, I think over the years it's gotten better, but I've been in the field 20 years now, and I know it's gotten better in just those 20 years of just of our outlook, or more of our public perception of massage therapists, of course. But yeah, there's still a lot of confusion as to what we do and what people who aren't doing what they're supposed to do are doing. So
I think we've done a good job of educating, and that's why it's getting less, but we haven't done a great job. There's still a lot more that we need to do, and we can do, and we are doing.
And I could argue, I think that being board certified would then validate, I make up words all the time, validate more of what you're doing and show that you are a professional through and through as well. I would think that that's also adding to that, right? Yeah, absolutely. So exciting. All cool stuff going on. So another misconception I hear a lot of times, people say, when you go to get licensed, you can either take the NCB test or you can take the NBLEX test. and to get your licensing. So is there some clarification that can help people kind of understand that difference there?
That used to be, now it's the NBLEX for licensing.
Mm-hmm.
So the NCBTMB test right now is certification, board certification.
Okay.
The NBLEX is for state licensure.
Awesome. And do you know offhand what the test itself is? It's about 120 questions, I think I read.
I think.
Yeah. So I think NBLEX is like 100 or something like that. And you said there's study guides and more information.
There's study guides and practice tests that you can purchase a practice test. And don't quote me on prices because I could be wrong, but I think it's a 30.
I put up the website there. People can go check it out.
Just check it out because there's like different levels. Like you can purchase a practice test for 30 days and keep practicing it, or 60 days, or whatever you feel you need. So, and they try to make that very reasonable for you because they want you to pass the exam. They want to support you, but they also want to make sure that you are qualified to be board certified because that's your reputation.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not just, it's not an easy test by any means, but it's reasonable in what if a school has been an NCB assigned school and also follows the regulations for their accrediting and such, and the ELAP as well. Would you think that most of the time that people would cover everything that they need to cover to be able to pass the test?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about people who haven't been in school for a very long time? Would they be able to pass the test too?
Well, actually, some of the questions were just rewritten a couple years ago, I think 2 years ago. And they did that with people my age and had them take the test and whatever.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, sometimes you're shocked, like, I still got it. I still know it. But then there were others who was like, I'm panicking. I panicked when I took it the first time. I have test anxiety. I need the practice and I need the study guides and all that. Other people, it's like, I'm just going to wing it if I know it. And if I don't, that says I need to go back. And so, it was really it was a good thing for us to have that opportunity. So we know, firsthand. And that's what we want. We're not trying to trick people and keep people out or make it that difficult.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. You had mentioned to people who are like work in spas and such. Do you see practitioners also getting the board certifications, or do you think more people think it's people who work more in like healthcare industry type of massage settings, or everybody?
No, I think it's everybody. I just had a call from someone in Chicago last week who works for a Y, like a YMCA, YFCA. It depends on what they call it in your state. But that person was kind of excited. They got called into the office by the person who runs this facility. They've been there for, 5-6 years. And they said, you're no longer going to be an independent contractor. We're going to bring you and all the other therapists on as hires. So we'll take your taxes out. You don't have to, all that will be so much easier. And so they said what the pay scale was. And she went home and figured it out and thought, that's less money than I'm making. And she went back and talked to the boss and said, I am board certified. And so are the other therapists that work here. We're also members. All of them were a member of a professional organization, whether it be ABMP or AMTA. And she said, we're not going to take that pay cut. So it's up to you. And the boss got on, investigated what NCBTMB was all about, what AMTA, what ABMP were all about, and said, you're right, we do have the best of the best. And they all got a raise. So, and they were made employees. So it was like somebody spoke up and said, no, I deserve this. And I am qualified. And the boss didn't know that, didn't realize what it meant.
Yeah. Oh, commend the boss for being open-minded and exploring that. It's really amazing.
And I was excited when I got the call. It's like, you're never going to believe what happened.
That's exciting. Oh my gosh. Something else that's exciting over at NCB, I've noticed that there are some specialty certificates or certifications. I don't want to say the wrong word. Certifications?
No, it's certificates.
Certificates. Some specialty certificates. I know I saw some, there's oncology and I think like a clinical massage type of orthopedic one. I'm trying to remember all the ones that I saw, but instead of me butchering it and making things up, can you speak to the specialties a little bit and what it
Sure.
is and what do people do and that kind of thing?
One of the most popular ones is a sports massage.
Mhm.
And prior COVID, it was hands-on for part of it and online for part of it. So that was great. And that's one of our most popular ones. There's also clinical rehabilitation, clinical assessments and all that, a pregnancy massage. You mentioned the oncology. That's another popular one. The veterans has been very popular also. So in each of those have a component, and then you're tested on it. So, and it is a certificate rather than certification. It's board certification and specialty certificate. I had a young man that applied to work in my office. He'd taken a massage course for 12 weeks at the local YMCA and told me he was certified. And I said, no, you got a certificate in massage. It was 12 weeks. And you know how long we go to school.
Right.
And what you teach your students. But he didn't know the difference at the time because we weren't licensed in Michigan at the time.
Yeah.
He actually thought he was certified. But with the specialty certs, that's another thing too. If you want to go in and do sports massage, it's nice to have that specialty certificate along with your board certification. It's just another level.
Yeah. And so it like logistically, it sounds like there's like partners where the student, if they wanted to do that, or the person who wanted to do this would go take the classes with the specific partners and then be able to take the NCB exam for that certificate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they're very
So they're
specific.
held in different locations. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I thought, because I thought I saw certain names of schools and things that are involved in that. So which I might have to pick your brain or have you let me know who do I talk to about seeing how we can get in on some of that kind of stuff and what are some
of the chapters too will have the sports massage people come to teach. So you can get part of it, that you can get the hands-on at the chapter and all that. So some of the AMTA chapters will encourage that and offer that. So that's a good thing to look at. Yeah, but I'll help you however I can.
Yeah. I know we had the last class I took actually with our chapter was with oh my goodness, John
Comby.
Yes, John Covey. I'm like, God, I could see his hair, spiky hair, runny build, with the sports massage class, which was amazing and great. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm a school geek. I'm just a nerd. I want to take all the classes every time I can. And I'm like, there's not enough time in the day.
I know, I'm the same way, but it's so true. The more tools you have in your toolbox, the more people you can serve, because everybody is different. Everybody's needs are different.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we were just having a conversation, and I mentioned that I had the conversation again today about, we have a class, we call it injury rehab. And we tell the students, this isn't a modality. It's an approach. It's a way of thinking. It's a way to like assess and decide and, reassess at the end and kind of decide what you're going to do, because we're not teaching a protocol for you to one size fits all, because there's no such thing. It's using the tools you have in a way that makes sense for that person. So
that's excellent. I'm so excited to hear that, because there's misconceptions out there too, that people think if I learn this certain technique, I can treat everybody. It's going to fix everybody. So
yeah, it's very, very, very different. And I kind of got up on my soapbox about it too, because I don't know if you see this at all, but I feel like a lot of the students now want more like, we just want a video on it and just give us the steps that we need to do. And I had one back in my day, we didn't even have automobiles. And
we went to school in a barn.
Yeah, exactly. You actually can say that.
Right.
I do the snow uphill both ways kind of joke with that, but even though I went to school in Arizona and Phoenix area, we didn't have snow for sure. But I like to say that you guys have it made out easy. So I just want the students to rely on what they know inside of them and build the skills that they have, and not be afraid also when they get out there and they get a client that they're like, I don't know what to do. To take a deep breath, think about your tools, you know how to do this. This is a new way of applying the tools that you already know. So I don't want them panicking in the field and not having, the confidence to know that they can do this. So, and they might need to get some more tools in that toolbox. But yeah, they have the basics, and that's gonna be good.
And they do. And
Yeah.
like I said, you and I both know volunteering in an organization, you get that support because there's so many people just like you, just starting
Mhm.
out, and you
Mhm.
all rely on each other and you learn from each other. So
Yeah.
volunteering really helps. And even volunteering in your committee with other, or in your community, I'm sorry, with other
Mhm.
massage therapists, you learn from each other. It's just
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. I sit in classes all the time and just learn from my instructors all the time. And instructors who have been in the field for 2-3 years to instructors who have been in the field 25 years. I feel like every time I pick up something or a way that something's approached or looked at differently, and I'm always in awe of everything I could pick up from everybody's massage is not going to be the same, and that's what makes this field so beautiful. I love it.
Well, in way back in the day, there were so many things that we learned that are no longer true, that turned out to be
Mhm.
myths. Like
Yeah,
you can't massage somebody with cancer because you're going to
right,
spread the cancer.
right,
So, and now we know that's not true. We're getting physicians
Mhm.
referring them to us, to their
Right.
patients, to us.
Yeah.
So continuing education is vital,
Yeah.
vital.
Exactly. Yeah. And I always tell students too, like, you're going to have a lot of instructors. We all come from different backgrounds. We're all taught differently. And we might all be in our own little sacred cow space about things too. And we're not infallible. We also can, like, this is how I was taught and this is how I'm going to do it. And until we learn something different to kind of either correct that or progress from that, we might be a little bit stuck too. So I said, take what works for you, make a decision on what you know, and question things. Go out there. That's what the research has been so helpful for, and been just leaps and bounds the amount of research and research support that we've had in the field for the last I want to say since I started. I didn't know that there was such a thing until like pretty much last few years, really. So
Well, and with approved providers too, one thing that we're doing is we're going through our approved providers and we're looking at the content of the programs, because some of them have been teaching the same program for 10 years and some things have changed in 10 years. So we need to make sure that they're updating the content. We
yeah,
want to keep it at the highest level, so
right.
our certificates remain at the highest level. So
Yeah.
that's one thing we're reviewing. And like you say, change isn't easy. It's not easy. They're going like, what are you looking at my class for? It's like,
Yeah,
we want to make sure you're still doing the best you could be. So
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more information in there. I have to do a little shout out here to one of our viewers, if she's still watching. Krista has said such amazing information. Thank you. Thank you, Krista, for watching, and
Oh,
everyone else who's watching here live and on the recording later on. So hopefully you get some good info to make you think and explore. I'll put the website on again here, our NCBTMB organization here, and find out more about the board certification and also the specialty certificates that are available. I knew the right answer, and I just had to. I was testing you, Dolly. That's what I was
sure.
doing.
I needed that. Well, when you said trying to say National Certification Board for Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork, that took me a long time too. It's so
Yeah,
much easier. In NCBTMB, now we say NCB.
you're
So,
right. Exactly. We can't even say the
whatever
acronym.
works. Yeah.
No, exactly. So let's see what else. So are you are how, I guess I don't know where I was going to go with that. What do you think from your strategic plan? You said it was end of last year, so you did a big reboot. So are we going to see any announcements come through, or should we be seeing things like in our trade publications, you think, or some new webinars, informational sessions, anything that we should be looking out for in the upcoming months?
Absolutely. We just partnered with Massage Therapy Foundation, did a webinar in July, and it was on manual lymphatic drainage for post-plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a plastic surgeon on there and also a massage therapist who does that sort of work. And she gets referrals from 7 different plastic surgeons. She's in the San Diego area, very well qualified. So that was a nice thing. And then in September, we have one coming up. We're partnering again with Massage Therapy Foundation for another webinar. And you do get an hour worth of CE for it. And it's on sports massage. It's all about
Okay.
sports. And Portia Resnick, the former president of NCBTMB, will be one of the presenters. So
That's
that'll be
awesome.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I see the notifications that happen with that, and I always forward it on to our students and our staff to make sure that they are getting that information as well. And with all the webinars, do they get a recording of it later if they can't watch it live?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the best way for them to find that? Would that be through the NCB website? Is there a link on there that they could do that?
I know it's through the Massage Therapy Foundation because they're the main ones that do it, and we just partner with them.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. I love that. They do so much amazing work. That's one of the ones I have to get somebody on that from that organization to come on and chat as well, because we use their resources so much here with our school, because we have a couple classes with research and also our case study class that we get the students to do research on their project that they're working on. So we are always showing them all the tools that are available there, and at no cost. It's so amazing.
I know.
So it's really, really great that what just exploded. Again, it's one of my, if you only knew what we had to do in my day, here I was schlepping to the library and trying to find something that was sort of related. So much information that has grown. And even just in research, it's now, research is now included in like our accreditation standards. We had to make sure that we were including research classes in our program. So we had just updated our curriculum to add that in the last couple of years as well.
Awesome.
So students are getting some information on that too. So yeah, we're progressive over here at ASI. Yes, always trying to revamp and make things better and more applicable for things that are going on in the industry now. So yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about with coming with NCB, or any other tips or anything for our students or anyone else watching?
Well, we're just really excited about the direction that we're headed in right now. Like I said, it's been a lot of work. We've partnered with somebody new for marketing because the marketing has changed also. You know, it's now Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok even. Yeah. So we have to be more savvy about that, and we haven't been in the past. So it's going to be more of that coming through. And also some of our certificates sharing why they're board certified, what their board certification means to them. And we also are working with different other organizations. You know, we're part of the coalition. So we meet with the Alliance, and so there's a lot of educators there. We attend the AMTA School Summit. We've just reached out to ABMP to see how we can better market to their people. So we're really striving to be more of a community. That's what it really should be.
I love that. I love one of our mottos, and we're going to get on a shirt or a hat someday, is collaboration over competition. Because I feel that as it's in my core, I feel in our industry, there is no competition. But I also feel like of all of our organizations and all the people advocating for things in our profession, if we're all working together, there's really not a competition thing either. We're all working for the greater good to elevate the profession. And we might have different our goals, our individual action steps might be a little different because our focuses are different. But ultimately, we're just trying to elevate the profession. So, you know, I don't like when people are like, well, which one? Why does it have to be which one we're choosing? It's not that easy to box that in that way. So, yeah, and
we can't do it all. We just, years ago, we had someone move in down the street from us. It was a chiropractor with 2 other massage therapists. And a patient came and said, how do you feel about your competition just 3 doors down? It's like, they're our colleagues. Yeah. So we made the effort. We went over, knocked on the door and said, how can we help you get started? And they were shocked because they came from the other side of the state in Michigan, which is very competitive. The western side, it's like we're all friends. And we have lunch together. There used to be a group of 8 chiropractic offices every Wednesday. We all got together and went to lunch, shared things. You learn from each other, and we can't do it all. Some massage therapists choose not to work with the elderly. Some don't want to work with children. Some don't want to work with certain diseases or cancer patients, whatever. It's not for everybody. And it's nice to have that referral network when you get to know them and trust them. And that's the nicest thing you can do for your clients when you can't help them, that you refer to someone that you trust and you know that's where they belong.
And it comes back around again.
It does. It does.
I remember having people nervous. I have to go on vacation. I'm worried about somebody's filling in for me is going to take my clients.
Yeah.
because they're not yours. Like, they don't belong to you, for one. But I mean, what if somebody's going to be getting more relief in a different type of modality or a different approach? Wouldn't that be the ultimate best thing for the client if they did decide to switch over? But there are plenty of times where I've had, like you were saying, I don't do hot stone treatments. So if any of my clients want that, I have a list of people, be like, go see these people. And they would go to the hot stone treatment once every other session and then come to see me for my work. And I have no problem with it. And if they've decided that's the person for them, then that's great for them. I want them to ultimately feel better. And then that just opens up a space for somebody else to come to me. So, I mean, I don't see the.
When I was new in practice, I made a mistake though. Someone came to me and they said, you know, the guy down the street charges $15 less an hour than you do. And I said, well, he knows what he's worth. I should not have said that. I should have said, I know my worth. But I said, well, he knows what he's worth.
Yeah.
Like, he's not worth much. That was the wrong thing to say. I was brand new. So I'm telling your students, if they're listening in, don't do what I did. That was a mistake. And I've learned, we learn and we grow.
Right.
But yeah, that was not smart.
Yeah. Oh, we've all had our moments with things. And money is such a tough one. Oh, I could go on and on about the challenges with that, and getting people to pay you what you really deserve to be paid, and asking for that, and being confident. That's a whole other thing that's hard, right? We're in the field because we want to help people too. And we're like, I don't want to charge people too much. And I want to be competitive, or should I be as expensive as that person or as inexpensive as the other person? It's a lot to consider and weigh. So there's not really a right answer. I have students all the time. What do I charge for this? I can't really give you a number, but let's talk about the variables. That's really all you can really do. But don't let people bully you either into charging less and everything else too. So,
well, because I was one of there were only 2 massage therapists in my town when I first started to practice. So when the hospital started to get on board, their HR department called me and said, how much should we charge? How much do you charge? I had my husband was on the chiropractic board. Chiropractors from all over the state were calling, like, how much should we charge? We can't tell them that. That's price fixing. That's wrong. Right. So it's like, don't get caught up in all that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a tough one, but know your worth, right?
You know your worth.
Yes, exactly. And everything else will come into pieces, come into the good where it needs to. Yeah, I love it. Okay, Miss Wallace here. I have some hot seat questions to ask you before we do a do. And I know you have your puppy to take care of at home. So she's been really great this whole time. We're ready, folks. For those of you who don't know, we were ready for some barking distractions. All right. So these I ask every single one of my guests, and hopefully we get some fun answers. So which talent or superpower would you most like to have?
I would love to fly. Just fly like a bird. And I've told my family this. They think I'm absolutely crazy. My youngest daughter says, Mom, how could you want to just fly like a bird? It's like I could see everything. They look so peaceful and they're just, so calm. I just like to fly all over and see everything. Yeah. But yeah, I wish I could fly.
Yeah, nice. I love it. I've had, that's probably the most popular answer I get, but there's 2 camps. One, because they want to get to someplace better. And then the other camp is to the act of being above and seeing everything. So I think it's interesting that that's most common. If you weren't in the massage therapy field, what occupation would you most like to have?
Well, before massage, I was in school to be a lawyer, an attorney, and I wanted to be a juvenile criminal attorney. I wanted to defend young people. And when I sat through my first murder trial, 2 15-year-old boys, so I had to sit through 2 different trials, I thought, I can't do this. The system failed one of them, and the other one ended up going to school in prison, being a paralegal. He's out. The one who was the follower, not the leader, is still in prison 40 years later. And he just followed, and he took the drugs the other kid gave him, all that. So, but I still have a heart for young people. So I would like to do something with youth, especially middle age. That's such a tough, junior high is such a tough age, and high school. And there's just aren't enough resources out there. And I don't know exactly what it is, but I would still like to do that, help with the youth somehow.
maybe they need to get some regular massage treatments, because that is I was just saying, because I really love the prenatal work. I love to work in infants. And I was just saying, once the infant's here, I think we forget about the mama, like, and all the work her body's had to do. And I think similar with that middle age, we have the babies, and then the children, and then where our bodies are starting to break down in our 20s, and then that's people getting massages, I think, are on either end. And that middle section there, I don't think there's as much out there for people to treat that age range. And that's the one that's growing and needs more attention with their bodies. So I like you, Miss Dolly Wallace. Okay. If money and circumstances were not an issue, where would you most like to live in the world?
Well, we can dream about living in Rome, Italy, Barcelona, Spain, Athens, Greece. That just sounds wonderful to me.
Yeah.
But I'm an American, and I love living by the water. And when I retired from Michigan, moved to California, I wanted to live at Newport Beach. And I would still like to live at Newport Beach. But when we looked at housing, they're $1 million houses and they're shacks on the water. Yeah. And it's like, especially coming from Michigan, where the real estate's so different, number one, than California, and then to live on the water. And I lived right by Lake Michigan before. So I miss my water, but I would love to live at Newport Beach, California.
Okay. All right. We're going to put that out there in the universe.
Yes.
What is your most treasured possession?
That's a hard one, but we always say family, but that's not really a possession. That's a gift. I would say someone once gave me a pocket rosary that is blessed by St. Francis, the Pope. So that's, by Pope Francis. So that's my treasured possession. I carry it in my purse. I carry it when I travel. So I always have it with me. And just a little treasure.
Fun. Very, very cool. And then last but not least, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Oh, I've learned so much since I was 18, but be true to yourself. Believe in yourself. I was so always trying to please others when I was 18. But yet I was always told, my parents were poor, but we were always told, you can be whatever you want to be, do what you want to do, it's up to you. And I didn't really realize how that was instilled in me till I went to a convention that was a motivational convention thing for doctors and chiropractors and dentists. 200 people in the room, and the presenter said, who in here was told you can be whatever you want to do, you can be whatever? I stood up. 3 of us stood up out of 200 people. I looked at my husband, who I think had a privileged life growing up. I certainly didn't. I said, didn't your parents tell you that? And he said, no, never. And so that's what I would like to instill, that just be yourself, be real, be honest, be kind, but believe in yourself.
I love that. Honest and kind. 2 of my favorite attributes of people. I just got a shirt that says kind people are my kind of people.
I like it.
Yeah, it's really great. I just want to comment on a couple comments that came. Krista wrote back and said she feels inspired and more informed, and thanks to me and you. And our number one fans out there, Jessica, says you are amazing. Thanks for watching. Friends. I want to thank Dolly for taking out the time today, and I loved catching up with you. I missed all those times that I'm seeing us riding the boats together and doing all our things.
We were crazy pirates one time.
Pirates, of course. See, volunteering, you get fun stories about pirates. It's really great, and great friends from all over the country.
But I want to say, Michelle, the real heroes are your people listening in today. Those are going to be the success stories we're going to hear about. So I'd like to thank them.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you for this opportunity.
Of course. Yes, thank you to our live viewers, and thank you to everyone who is joining us later on YouTube or Facebook. Remember, every Friday, 1:00 Arizona time, we'll be here having chats. So we'll see you next time, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.